In order to get started, we're going to need to remove the shelf. How you do that is you pull the shelf retaining clip out of each side, lift the shelf up and out. We need to repeat that process with the side shelves on the top of each side. Pull the two shelf retaining clips out, get under the shelf, lift up and out. Okay, the next step is to locate your front hold template in your kit. Put 3 pieces of tape on one side, a label with an arrow on the bottom. Peel each of the 3 pieces of tape. And peel the backing from the tape. With the arrow on the bottom, you're going to fold the sides down, push it all the way to the back wall of the unit, and you're going to bring it up so the pieces of tape hold it to the ceiling. Then you're going to get the supply drill bit, and you're going to drill 3 holes. You're going to locate your side hole template from your kit, which is the smaller of the 2 templates. It also has tape on one side. We peel the backing from the tape. You find the label with the arrow. It's going to go against the back wall. Raise it up to the top. Put some pressure on so the tape adheres. You're going to take the same provided drill bit. You're going to drill 2 holes. Then you're going to peel the template off carefully. Go around to the other side of the unit and use the same template on the opposite side. Same procedure. Next step is to locate your long under-header mounting bracket. There's 1 long in your kit and 2 short ones. The long one is about 29 inches long. You're also going to locate your long ratchet rail. This is a ratchet rail and it's got these locating screws installed in it already. You might have to change the location of the locating screws. They should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes in from the end on each side. You're going to locate the bracket over the rail, making sure the sides are even. And then you're going to take the supplied screws and Allen wrench and you're going to secure this in place with 3 screws, 1 at the very end on each side and 1 in the center. Once these screws are secured, you can remove these locating studs. I'm not going to use those. The next step is to put your security panels on. They go in from the side like this, and you'll know when they're installed right. They'll make a noise. And according to your planogram, you're going to install the correct number per each rail. I believe it. Okay, so in this particular case, we're going to install 8 security panels for our top shelf in the front of the NRT End Cap. Just to show a correctly installed ratchet panel on the underheader bracket with the security shield, there is a front and the back to the bracket. The front has this surface here. The security shield should be facing that way, and the ratcheting mechanism should be on the back, like this. This is one of the small under-header mounting brackets. You'll get 2 of these in your kit. This is the front of it, the face of it. You'll also get a short ratchet rail. It's approximately the same size. These are about 14.5 inches. This will have the locating pins also. You might need to relocate these. I relocated these to the 4th hole from the end on each side. I'm going to locate the bracket over the ratchet rail, like so, making sure it's even. I'm going to install 2 screws with the Allen wrench, 1 on each side at the very ends. Then I'll remove the locating pins. These are no longer needed. And then again, the same procedure we used on the longer rail. I'm going to install the shields same way. Just follow your planogram, see how many shields you need at each level. You'll repeat this process for the other side of the header. Okay, we're going to take our large security shield assembly with the large under-header bracket. I'm going to secure it to the bottom of the header, screwing into the 3 holes that we drilled using the drilling template. Those holes are going to coincide with these 3 screw locations, 1 at the very end and 1 in the center. I recommend you do this with 2 people. It'll be much easier. Find the hole with the first screw. Just get it started. Again, find one of the other 2 holes with the screw. Just get it started. This would stay in place. Install the 3rd screw. And then you can tighten all of them completely. You can use a drill driver if you like. I would just be careful of the torque on it. It might have more torque than you need to do this. We're going to repeat the installation process for the under-header bracket with the security shields on it for the side. The sides, we only drilled 2 holes, so we're only going to use 2 screws to install them. They're going to coincide with the 2 screws that hold the ratcheting rail to the metal bracket. Again, this is probably a lot easier if you have somebody to help you to hold the bracket up while you're installing it. I'm going to find the first hole. I'm going to get it started. Second hole. And this one I can just drive this all the way home. And then drive the other one. I'm going to repeat that to the opposite side. Next, we're going to install the security shields on the bottom of each of the removable metal shelves. The first thing we need to do is to remove all these components from the top of the shelf. So turn the shelf upside down, and you'll find clips at the bottom of the shelf. I find the best way to remove these clips is to use the Allen wrench and push on the center of the clip, push down. That one's not going. Push down until the pin retracts into the clip. And sometimes you'll find like these clips do not go down. The reason is because they're covered on top. You might have to remove a divider or a pusher. These two dividers are what's preventing the clip from being pushed in. Now it should push in easily. Bring the shelf upright. Lift the entire assembly off the shelf. Put it aside. Stop. Next, we're going to install the ratchet rail assembly onto the bottom of our shelf. Turn the shelf upside down. We have the locating screws on the ratcheting rail again. With the serrated ratchet part to the back of the shelf, we're going to locate the locating screws in the second hole from each end on the back set of holes, meaning this set of holes here, and then using 3 screws, and it's not really critical where you put each of these screws, but this one should be near the center. One in the center, and one towards each end. Once those are snug, you can remove the locators. Now that the security shield ratchet rail is secure, we're going to replace the components on top of the shelves. I discarded the old clips. You'll get new clips with your kit. I recommend 4 clips per shelf. You're going to install the clips into each set of holes. Push the plunger down to lock it. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to replace any components I had to remove before. And lastly, we're going to install the ratcheting security shields. You're going to put as many in as your planogram requires. Okay, onto the smaller side shelves, we're going to need to take these components off the top of the shelf to install the ratchet panel. So I'm going to find the components that are on top of the pins, and I'm going to remove those so the pins will come off. Turn the shelf upside down. Using my Allen key again, I'm going to pop the center of each of these clips and push the clips down. Remove the top components, put them aside. Okay, I have another small ratcheting rail. I want to attach this to the bottom of each of these small shelves. The locating screws are on here already. I'm going to locate them onto the back set of holes, like so. I want to make sure the serrated part of the rail is towards the back of the shelf. Coming up on top of the shelf, I'm going to install 1 screw on each end. Using the Allen wrench. Once those are secured, we're going to remove the locating screws. Now that the rail is in place on the bottom of the shelf, I can replace the components that go on top of the shelf, locate them on top, aligning the holes. I'm going to use 2 new clips that are provided with your kit. Install one in this hole and then push it down until I hear it click. I'm going to install one on the opposite side, the far end. Put that in the hole and push that down until I hear the click. Now I can replace the pushers I had to remove to get to the clip holes. So just snap in place. Okay, now the side shelf is pretty much done. We just need to install the correct amount of security shields. Check your planogram to see how many you need for each location. Now that our shelf assemblies are complete, we're going to reinstall them onto the unit. The side shelf assembly I have here will go beneath the security shields that are mounted to the header. We're going to come up this level here. There should be about 1/2 of an inch from the bottom of the security shield to the top of the white part of the shelf. Once the shelf is in place, I'm going to reinstall these shelf retaining clips to make it easier by pushing these aside, and these will go right on top of the shelf and snap into the square holes in the back wall. Once these clips are installed, you won't be able to lift this shelf. I have the front shelf assembly completed. I'm ready to reinstall this. I'm going to install it the same way. I'm going to look at the side shelf. I want this to be mounted at the same level as the side shelf. So I'm going to use my side shelf as a guide to locate this onto the metal back wall. Bring it down to rest. I know I'm installed correctly here because there's about 1/2 inch of space from the bottom of the shield to the top of the white part of the shelf. Now that it is in the correct place, I'm going to move the shields aside, and I'm going to use my shelf retaining clips again and snap those in to secure the shelf. Again, once those clips are in, you won't be able to lift the shelf up. I want you to note that when you install the rest of your shelves, even though you only have 1/2 inch of space on the top shelf, you're going to have more like 1 inch on every other shelf all the way to the bottom. That's how you know you have the correct spacing on all the shelves. Once all the security shields are installed, it's very easy to reinstall your signs. Find this clear fence behind the security shields. Slide it on from the side. It's very easy to replace. And that's your completed unit. That's the completed security shield version. CVS calls it the LP version. And this is your unit, what it looked like when you began, and this is your final product when you finish. If you have any questions about installing the security shields onto your Cvs Nrt End Cap, you can call the customer service number that you can find at the bottom of the planogram that was provided with your kit.